Hello, everyone in Gotham, or should I say Metropolis tonight. I am Lexi, and this is my co-host, this side, Ryan.
Yo.
And we are the hosts for Gotham City Tonight. Usually we talk about Batman, Batman comics, all of those things. Tonight we're going to mix it up a little bit. I'm sure we're still going to end up talking about Batman somehow, because we always do. But this has been a really big week, or even 2 weeks, for Superman and for Superman news, actually.
Yeah, the Superman family seems to have kind of took over New York City Comic-Con over the weekend. They had panels, there was celebrations. I know that they had they just had a big panel. I know a lot of the discussion of the big topic there too was the 30th anniversary of the death and return of Superman, which brought us a lot of cool characters that we're also going to talk about because they were previewed. Some of them are coming back, even though it's But yeah, we'll definitely get into it. And also, is Henry Cavill actually returning?
It kind of looks like it, right? Like this isn't just wishful thinking at this point.
And we'll find out in a week. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'll be in Toronto. I'm not sure if we're all gonna go. If I can talk my friends into going, we'll go to Black Adam. I'm can't lie. I'm a little curious.
Yeah,
I think
a
I'm
lot
more curious.
of clips from the Super Sons movie floating around as well. And I know it almost sounds like a joke to be talking about it because it is, just like this animated movie that seems very child focused. But from what I've been seeing, it's really freaking funny. Like, really funny. And it feels like such a nice return and homage to the original Super Sons run and to that feeling. So super excited about that. There's a little bit of Batman in there.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, come on. I already made the thumbnail. It was nothing but Superman symbols. It looks like people are coming back. Characters are coming back. People are getting whole new looks and styles and powers.
Thank you, Dan Mora, for that beautiful, the one picture that's been going around.
Okay, which I've got lined up and ready to go, as well as some of the other covers and stuff that they've shown. So we will get into that in one hot minute. Let's say a quick hello to the chat.
Hello.
We got Oz. He's here. Brandon's here. Toy Anxiety. Craig and Abby. How are you guys doing? Happy to be here. Matt Bush, welcome. This is what's really funny here. So Craig here, according to Twitter, Cavill is back, but the Snyderverse isn't.
Did Ryan also, and I personally manifest that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that we all that's what we kind of put out there. It seems like a lot of us did, clearly not just us two. Like
just us.
Just us.
Only us in the entire fandom. There's only you and me.
It's so true.
Batman, it's so niche. Not many people are into that.
Yeah, not many. And what's really funny is that someone, there was an account that posted, they proposed the question on Twitter. What is Ben Affleck's Batman's theme song? And I'm watching all these Snyder heads fight about it. None of them could agree on what song from Batman versus Superman was the theme song to Batman. Like what his theme was. You know how it's like you can listen to any soundtrack and you're kind of like, oh, that's when Batman comes out. That's when
I literally was just talking on our last episode about the Wonder Woman theme and how iconic it was.
Right. And they couldn't agree what Batman's theme was. They kept saying different songs and different tracks, and I was like, "Oh, this fandom."
Why? It should be labeled because Wonder Woman's theme wasn't it called She Has or She's With You?
She's With You.
Yeah, She's With You. It's very clear, because it was the I thought she was with you moment. Shouldn't the Batman theme be called Oh, he's sad or something? I don't know.
Oh, he's sad. Dead parents.
Yeah, honestly. Dark alleyway.
No, it's Snyder, right? So wouldn't it be Pearl Necklace? Oh, I don't think we can call it that. Now that I said that out loud, I don't think I should have said that. Oh, well, here we go, folks.
Live.
We got John Yerkeba here. I know he's a huge Superman fan. Anytime he brings up Superman in the chat, the rest of our friends go, "We don't care." Um,
And I scream, but I do.
I do. I care. I do care. Right?
So much.
Jurassic Dave 93. Gotham Stalkers in the house as well. Matt Bush, that Wonder Woman, that whoa theme makes me feel like I have superpowers.
But literally, like I mentioned this on our stream before, I entered my wedding reception to the Wonder Woman theme. I made
Yes.
all of our like bridals party and groomsmen like all entered the reception to the Wonder Woman theme because I had big feelings about that track.
Yeah. And in case you don't know this about Lexi's wedding as well, she made all the bridesmaids do a tournament to find out who was going to be the maid of honor, and they had they had to go to an island and do this big race.
Not everyone made it out, so I had some extra bridesmaids dresses left over, which was kind of frustrating financially, but you know, we made it work.
What do you do? Only one was worthy for the title of bridesmaid, and
had to make the grooms go through the same thing so the numbers would be even. We did what we had to do, you know?
Yeah, the groomsmen got put into a pit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it was the whole thing.
Right. And it turned out great.
I wasn't there. Everyone survived.
I wasn't there. We only met each other a week after you got married, I think. But it was
something like that.
Yeah. It's pretty close. But I mean, you know, it's that's like, and I agree. I think the Wonder Woman theme song. I know we're already off topic of what our thing was. What? We're talking about themes in movies, but
it's okay. It's not like we ever do that, so it's fine.
Well, and it's funny too. Even in Justice League, I don't know if someone asked me, "Hey, what's Cyborg's theme song?" I wouldn't know. In fact, I wouldn't even know what Batman's theme actually is. Now that the question was proposed, I don't know what I would choose. For any of that, I don't like Superman's theme is clear.
Yes,
because in fact, I actually think the Man of Steel soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The soundtracks actually are never the worst part of any of these movies.
Right.
Even Dark Knight Rises, the soundtrack's killer. Right? Love it. But yes, Superman theme. Let's go back into Superman. All right. So as you were saying, like Dan Mora was the shining star. I'd have to say, everyone was talking about him. All the artists and Artist Alley were posting photos about him or with him and talking about how proud they are of him and how just like big of fans everyone's become. He has become 2022's comic it guy. I would say 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I said that when we first started doing this podcast. He's in my top 3 DC artists.
Right.
Like,
yep.
He's so good, and I'm so excited to see him getting the recognition that he deserves. And I also do, real quick, because I realized I never said it on stream, but several weeks ago we did our Harley Quinn episode. I credited some very sexy Clark titties out overall farm pictures to Dan Mora. They were actually Travis Moore. So that was my bad. But still,
okay, that cover
does a ton that I still love.
One of our local comic stores did, because that cover comes out next month.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy Clark overalls.
Yes, and John's in it too, but Clark.
John's in it too, but that's the whole thing. It's like I feel like I'm being gay baited into looking past the bisexual Superman that I probably have a chance with to married overall daddy behind him.
Yeah, are.
What? What happened? Like, it's Clark is giving Dick Grayson a run for his money with some of these covers that are coming out.
And it's not just the covers. Like there's just so much like it's Dick and his booty, but it's Clark and his chest in some of these things that are happening. And I'm not mad about it. I mean, this is the equality I have been asking for.
This is the cheesecake equality we've all wanted.
I've always said you don't need to make the women modest if you make the men slutty to match. Like, it's just got to be across the board.
Right. And I think that's why I miss X-Men swimsuit issues. Because when they would do an X-Men swimsuit where there's nothing but pinups, you've got Colossus like being a hoe, and you've got you got Wolverine freaking working the camera, and Scott and Jean and all that kind of stuff. It would always felt like it was pretty evened out.
Yeah.
Even though Rogue or Psylocke are going to be on the cover, buns
Yeah.
out, suns out, buns out, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, at least when you open it, everybody's getting some representation, right? And now I feel like we're getting that so we're starting to get that with covers.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was the Bat Fam Super Fam pool, like little cover series that just happened recently. Dick Grayson looked good. And when you have those two families, that's a lot of male characters.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They did it.
They did it. Yeah. Let's see. What did they all preview here? We got, hang on. I am going to go right to that picture that everyone has been sharing. I don't think anyone has not been sharing. We've all, like, everyone's in it. And everyone's here for it. This is courtesy of IGN. This is the only place I could find it without it being an advertisement. And I apologize that it's so small. This is as full screen as it'll let me go. But this picture has me excited, and at the same time asking questions. Lexi, I know you've got feelings.
I am vibrating in my seat. Like, I am so excited.
All right, let her rip.
I mean, they're finally bringing Clark back, which we just all knew was going to happen. Son of Kal-El is ending. I mean, you guys cannot see my mouse cursor, but I am just circling John Kent's face, because if you did not know John, like, the only reason I knew that was John Kent was process of elimination. It is a complete redesign, and for the first time, he does not look like a young Clark. He looks like a separate character. Like, there is a game on Twitter called Clark or John, where people would share pictures of, and it does not even necessarily looks like young Clark. It almost just looks like old Clark half the time. It does. Or Clark just looks weirdly young, which, I mean, he's Kryptonian, whatever. But this is the first time you look at this and you're like, these two characters do not look alike, which is really exciting for John.
For all of, I think to me, do you remember when Into the Spider-Verse first came out and Twitter went absolutely bonkers and started doing spider sonas?
Yes.
This looks like the Superman take of that.
Yes.
And we've got all the super people across the board, including Steel there in the center back.
Yes.
Right.
And we're acknowledging that Kong exists. Like,
correct. Which I don't
think.
Yeah, I don't think we've had that happen.
They almost treated him like he was an alternate universe. Like, he wasn't even part of the timeline.
Correct. It was
people were so mad that he was Chinese. Just straight up.
People just get mad anyway. There's a Earth 2 Superman everyone still gets mad about too.
Yeah.
Who's also coming back, by the way.
Yes. One of the other things about these designs that I am really obsessed with is the fact that if you look at this picture, Clark is the only one with a cape. No one else has one. And I think that is so fun, because the cape really is the old school, like, I'm a superhero. He's got the cape. You can see, like, the red around his, like, hips. He's got the underwear on the outside. He is in a really classic world's finest Superman suit, and everyone else looks modern. And I love that difference. I love that it's like, hey, these ones look modern because they're the next generation, and Clark is Clark. Like,
Clark is Clark.
He is who he is.
That's why I think when it comes down to when it comes to Clark Kent, we want our grandparents Clark Kent. Right? Like, when it comes down to it, we don't want anything else. That's what it comes with in the movies and all that stuff. We want to see the blue, the red, big blue, right? As they would call it.
And that is why I think John Kent, when he was young, was so fun for people, because he was so different than Clark. So you almost got that, like, reimagined Superman without ruining Clark. Like, that was what was so fun about it. So when he became kind of a copy of his dad, it was like, So now it's Clark, but not Clark.
Yeah. Okay. It's like when I agree. Yeah, I don't know how else to add to that. I'm just like, yeah, that's it. You nailed it.
But damn it, Kara looks good. Can we talk about the twins in this? Like the
Okay,
twins that we're hinting at here?
so I I don't know where I've been in the Superman lore. Who are the twins again?
So correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I know you will. But as far as I understand, this is their first appearance. They are brand new.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I
which
thought.
feels kind of like oh, you guys enjoyed a young John Kent? Sorry, here, take these instead.
Yeah,
um,
and there's a part of me that's like, I don't want them, but I'm like, don't be that dude. Don't be that typical white dude with a beard on YouTube. Just wait till it comes out. Make your judgment, and don't make your judgment off the first issue they appear in.
right. I am definitely holding out because I think writing children and something like this can get real annoying really fast, but it can also get really right, like with Damien and John.
Correct.
So I have hope. I do. I really, really do. But yeah,
I do want to acknowledge this from Jeremy, and Jeremy,
yeah.
thank you for joining us. Sad to see Power Girl left out as usual, but it seems DC may have different plans for her.
Yeah.
They do, and there was previews for her solo title as well. She's definitely, she may not be in this particular mix, and same with Earth 2 Superman. Earth 2 Superman's also coming back. He's going to be having his own title again, and I don't think he's had one since the New 52 era.
Because no one asked for it.
That's when they took Earth 2 and said, we're going to take all those heroes from the 30s and that we all created the Alan Scott Green Lantern and Alan Scott. Am I right?
No,
Okay.
Flash?
I think, yeah. Yeah. I'm like, wait, Alan Scott's Flash? Hang on. I'm trying to remember who is who now. Anyway, blonde Green Lantern. Right? Like they tipsy turned everyone. They were like, let's make a new Superman. He's going to be black. We're going to do a Green Lantern that's gay. We're going to do, and then like the Flash will be the Flash, right? So that everyone doesn't get mad. And that's kind of like
you're right.
what kind
Alan
of
Scott is Green Lantern.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yes. Okay. And so I was kind of like, and I remember that kind of being the catalyst too for a lot of comic stores, and like my own comic store I frequent, they got a letter pushed under their door from an angry fanboy upset about all this representation and how
because that comic store are going to be able to change that.
Well, they're just like, that was his way of saying, I'm canceling my saver file until comics grows up. And it was like, oh, dude, you were on the wrong
see
side
you
of
never.
Yeah, you're on the wrong side of history on this one, bud.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
If I may, I would love to go through some of these comments because we had some really fun ones while we were taking a look at this picture.
Absolutely.
Where do we start? Here we go. Jeremy saying, ran the new jacket costumes past your 22-year-old, got a big thumbs up. Yes, they are modern. They are cool. The looks are so clean. Such a good family look. Because again, it looks unified while Clark still gets to be Clark. And they all still look individual. Like in that photo, I do not mix up one person for another. Even
Correct.
like John and Conor with like kind of the similar hairstyles, they're still different enough. They do not look like each other. Yes, I think we all need a new Supersona. We all need a jacket. I've actually seen some really funny fan art of Clark talking to Lois, and she's like, "You want a jacket, don't you?" And he's like, "I do." It's very cute. But yeah. Oh, here we go. Clark saved the twins. I'm assuming. I think it was that during his adventures on War World in Action Comics. Okay, but it looks like they're pretty much brand new. Fantastic.
Yeah, and Adventures of Superman is where John Kent's story continues.
Mm-hmm.
So Superman is Clark. Adventures of Superman is John. So
wait, is he still going by Superman?
We don't know. We'll find out in January. But he's also getting those classic. I wouldn't even say classic. What would be the what's the word when people get like up in arms about things? Why, I'm totally drawing a blank. Anyways, Electric Superman. Looks like John's gonna be inheriting that look.
Yes. So I don't know if you saw one of the other teasers that has been floating around, but there was like a work in progress hint that he might have Shazam's powers, or it has something to do with Shazam.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, a Kryptonian vessel for
Yeah.
Shazam? Oh.
Possibly, or something along those lines, but it looks like
Oof.
something might happen to Billy Batson or something within that universe, but there have been some hints that it's gonna have something to do with Shazam.
A magic Kryptonian to me just sounds like when people talk about Clark being overpowered, like that sounds like that's overpowering.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
But
and I feel like at that point you'd have to take John off of Earth, right? He'd have to do like deep space nonsense.
it her or Dark Realm nonsense.
Yeah. But not here.
Yeah, that just seems like too much. But we'll see where it goes. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're just speculating at the moment. But I will say this: I am one of the few people that actually loved the run of Superman where he was electric, because by this time I was old enough to know that that wasn't going to last forever. I already kind of realized costumes are going to change and everything will always somehow go back to status quo, just like we're doing now with Clark, right?
Yep.
Everything eventually goes back to status quo. And uh, I actually really love that run because he was still very much Superman. He still had all these like really cool powers, but he could also like kaiju himself. He was almost like this weird mix of like, you know, a ghost and Ultraman from Japan, and he was just
Mhm.
like he was crazy. I loved
Yeah.
it. And then he split and it was red and blue. Oh my goodness. It was I don't know, to me sometimes when Superman gets really weird, it can be a lot of fun. Then you
Yeah.
bring it back, you ground it again, and then you can go back and do something weird. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that's
I
the one
mean,
thing yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna say I think a big part of why they're even doing anything like this with John is because now that Clark's back, again, they're kind of realizing they're the same person. So they have to do something to make him different if Clark is in the picture as Superman.
Right. Uh what do you think of Steele's new outfit with the crop top hoodie?
I'm obsessed. I think it's fantastic.
I think she's a great character to be. First, I love Steele. Like even the
Yeah.
original Steele, like I love
I
him.
was shocked to see her in this picture.
Me
Like,
too.
I literally, like, was talking to a friend and we were like, "Is that Steel? Is it" like, we were going through, like, who it could be, like, we were just, like, kinda didn't believe they were gonna actually, include her.
Same here. Yeah, I was in the same boat of like, whoa, finally, because I maybe it's because I'm just from that reign of the Superman era of a fan.
Mhm.
Uh, Conor being like my boy and Tim being my boy, like that whole generation.
Yeah,
And like again, Steele is part of that. She didn't come in until I think the early 2000s, I want
couldn't
to
tell you.
say. However, she also had those cool steel dreadlocks, which were totally badass, and I really, really dug that. And but I love this look. I think this look is just it's got this weird mix of like this weird mix of like badassery and Instagram influencer.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I dig it. I love it. Uh, what do we think of Connor's new outfit?
I think it's a beautiful nod to, like, what's actually kind of familiar for him. It's just updated and blended with the family.
Yeah, I like that they all kind of took a hint from him because like I love that their jackets even open up and then it's like their
And there's
regular
more
costume,
super underneath, yeah.
right? Like it's so good because even if you take off Connor's jacket, that's what his costume looked like when he takes his leather jacket off,
Yep.
right? It's the same one from the 90s. Like it's just
Yeah. It's pretty much just as classic. Like, they kind of brought everyone else to match Connor's vibe,
they
which good for Connor.
totally did. They absolutely did. I absolutely love it. There's hang on. What else we there's the David Nakayama cover of Power Girl,
Classic.
right? Got to have the window, right? Another good old classic Superman. These are all the covers that are coming out.
Ugh, I love
Here
that one.
is the cover by Lee Weeks where we get John in elementary school finding out that his dad has died at one point. This is going to be the cover for that. There's going to be a couple. There's going to be a few Death of Superman specials coming out, the anniversary of. And this is going to be John Kent learning from school, not even his own parents. Which, let's face it, that's a typical thing when we grow up. When we find out things through school, we go, "Why didn't you tell me?"
Yo,
Right? Like it's great. I love it, and I can't wait for that issue, to be honest, because it's going to be it's because to me this has always been one of those stories that I feel like everyone knows, but we never kind of like we don't really we only talk about it when Batman's trying to make a jab at Superman. Right? I think there was I can't remember if it was an issue of World's Finest back in the 2000s or if it was one of the Crisis books, and Batman kind of told Superman, "You haven't made a difference or impact on the world since you died."
I remember that.
Right? And I was always like, "Oh, dude, Batman,
That
come
hurts
on."
because you're right. Like, but you didn't have to say it.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. Stop it. You hurt my feelings too when you say that.
Right.
You know? Right. So I just like that this is how they're going to kind of do more specials about it and bring it back. And it's unfortunate again. And I guess Batman is still kind of right. Superman's getting this big reboot and big push because of the anniversary of his biggest storyline since the 1930s when he debuted was when he died. Again, here's another cover for Power Girls. We can kind of see where this is going, and it looks like she's going off-world. Right? Oh, looks like could be Brainiac, or is that Metallo?
I have no idea.
I don't know
I'm
either.
excited. The twins.
It's the kids. All the kids on one cover.
I'm so excited. I feel like the Bat fam gets so much love because it's just so much more of a cohesive unit. And this feels like one of the first runs. I'm going to be really bold here, and I'm going to stand open for correction. I'm going to say this is the most cohesive we may have ever seen the super family in like a big, like really extended coming together, like cross titles DC universe. Like the Bat fam's always doing stuff together. The super fam tends to be really isolated.
You are correct. I am trying to there's always a lot of Superman, Supergirl team ups.
And honestly, not enough Superboy, Conor Kent Superboy. Like it's a running gag how much like Clark just doesn't talk to him.
Or even
like we didn't even get a scene of Clark telling him he was going off world. He just told John and then bounced. Like where's Conor? Like you're not gonna let him know?
and yeah, we don't even get enough like just Conor in general with everybody else. Like we don't get to really see Conor and Steel hang out. We don't get to see Conor and Kara hang out. Like
yeah. And again, we pretended that Kong didn't exist.
If they do Conor and Johnner, if they do a Johnner title where it's just
I want like more of them being like brothers, uncle, nephew. We don't know because Clark's been super weird about Khan for 1,000 years. Like
it's again, this is one of these things that kind of bumps me out that they time jumped John. Because when you have a book like this, you could do another special where it's Tim and Conor and Damian and John.
Yes.
Just not even fighting necessarily. The whole thing wouldn't be them solving a crime, or it would be them going to like, let's say the amusement park or just going to a movie and then the chaos ensues.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like I would
and there's been so many like fake covers and stuff, even with that concept, or so much like fan art of like young John getting to interact with like a big brother Conor or young Uncle Conor. Like again, Clark, they just deal with it so weirdly, but there was just so much potential there. But you know, to come back to what we do have, I really cannot think of another instance where the super fam has been more united than this.
Yeah, I can't either. Like not even like again, a lot of these characters didn't appear until after the death of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
and with the reign of Superman, which led to a lot of this. And even then, all the Cyborg, Eradicator, Steel, Conor, they're all fighting each other too. Well, except for Conor
Yeah.
and Steel. They kind of something clicked and they were like, I think you and I might be on the same page here. But I don't know about these other two. They're a
Yeah.
little off. But I'm kind of hoping we get the return of Eradicator, and I'm always down for more Cyborg Superman. Evil Terminator Superman, give it to me. Give it to me at any point. Speaking of Terminator, that's definitely Metallo. I love God. Superman's got some very underrated supervillains that
He does.
people don't talk about enough.
It's because his villains are, I'm not going to say never, but like Batman's are just so weird. Like, you know, like evil robot, classic, you know, evil rich guy, classic. Well, Batman has like the penguin, the clown, the scarecrow, like
The
they
question
get
mark, the
so
cat, the
yeah, they get
plant.
so crazy.
It's true. Well, again, that's why we like. I think for the most part, a lot of people will always say Batman's got the best rogues gallery, followed by
Yeah.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
right? Or probably as the most iconic villains, right? It's just
They're so out there.
they are so out there, and then they're so color. All of them, even Spider-Man's, they're all colorful. They're bright. They all look like toys in a circus tent. Like it's just
Yeah.
you don't know how else to. And they're all like written so well, and they're so defined.
Yes.
Where I find that like outside of Lex Luthor, if someone said, "Hey, you know, what do you think of Parasite?" People are probably going to be like, "What the hell is
Yeah.
Parasite?"
Well, I mean, even design wise, like if you're a casual fan and you look at this picture, you're like, is that Metallo? Is that a metal Skeletor? Is that the Terminator with his skin melted off? Like it could be any of those things. Whereas you
I
see a
was
picture of like the Riddler, you know that's the Riddler. You know, there's no question.
right, except for maybe when I first saw the Batman poster, and I was all like, "That's the Riddler."
I mean,
Okay.
yes, but that is a different design.
But I mean, but you're right. I think outside of that, like even if when you look at something like Arkham Knight, like those games, those video games, those Arkham
Yeah.
games, the Riddler, even though he's not wearing the bowler cap and jacket, like you look at him and you're just like, that's clearly the Riddler.
Yeah.
But with like but you're right, Parasite, Brainiac, Metallo, though those three in particular, out of I would say like have some of his bigger villains,
Mhm.
they consistently change their look depending on the artist who's got this really cool idea on how to make them cool.
Because they said I can be the one to make this one iconic, but the point of iconic is that it's consistent.
Correct, which is why I think like Lex Luthor, even though he's went from like mad scientist to corporate
But he's
mogul,
bald.
but even so, there's just something about his arrogance that's also drawn in there as well.
Yes.
That we always kind of like. You can look at that bald dude in a sea of bald dudes and still be able to point out which one is Lex Luthor.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? There's a scheming arrogance to his posture and his facial expressions. You know, that's he's again, and they still made him that scientific genius as well. Like all of that still, it's funny how all of that is all completely come full circle and combined, and I love that. I love Screaming Banshee. That's another one of my favorite Superman villains. I think she's great. And from the Superman animated series, I'm a big fan of Livewire.
Oh, I do like Livewire.
And Livewire, to me, is the one character I think would make one of the best characters to... Okay, here's my pitch. This is going to be my Superman pitch for if I was the Kevin Feige of DC. So Warner Brothers, I know you're listening. So hear me
Just
out
like
on
you do
this.
every week.
Yeah, and we appreciate you listening, Warner Brothers. So thank you. What I would love to have is Livewire come in, and she kind of plays that J. Jonah Jameson ultra hard right wing Alex Jones. Kryptonians are evil. These aliens have no business being, because that's what she was playing in the animated series before we knew what it was. So before I understood what Fox News was, that's what she was a parody of. was that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she became like Livewire and all that stuff. So I was kind of like, if you bring her in like that now, because she was like, yeah, like this douchebag disc jockey who was like this, yeah, like a mix between Fox News and Howard Stern. And I still think you could make that credible today.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, we're pretty much doing it now without the politics. Sometimes social politics, yes. We're definitely full of social politics. But I mean,
In case we
it's,
haven't mentioned, Superman smashes the KKK again tonight.
oh gosh,
Mark
every
that
day.
on your
And
bingo cards.
but oh my god. But again, like if you have her reporting on that, right?
Yeah.
That would be her. I could totally see Livewire, like a version of today's Livewire, just being like, how dare he take away, how dare he censor those people from their freedom of speech?
Yeah.
We've heard
Or
this. We've
isn't it
heard all
our
this
job
before.
to, stop them as opposed to his?
That's right. So
Twisting it, whatever it would be.
yeah, he's not even American. He's not even from this planet, right? You can hear it
Yeah.
because we have to hear it every day on every other freaking news outlet. So
Yeah.
I, I mean, it's all the same shit.
We're
But
all
it
on
would
Twitter.
be,
We see it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, it's, and we see it. Yes, and you're right. Like there are like those types of women and men who do like the. I don't want to even give them. I'm not even going to give them a shout out, but the initials go by CG. I don't want to give them any credit, but I mean, like they're going like that's something you could totally play on with Superman. Oh gosh, Jarhead, and thank you for joining us, Jarhead, as well. Now you're gonna try and make me say it again. I'm gonna get John to pronounce it in the chat. and, it's, and it's funny. Okay, so I still have it near my desk. So speaking of this character, hang on. I'm just going to I'm going to stop that screen there for 1 second. So I went to the Funko store in Everett on Saturday. No, Sunday, because one of my buddies was just like, "Let's go, let's just get up and go," and I was like, "Fine, whatever." But they brought out all their New York City Comic Con exclusives and all their like summer convention exclusives. They put them all out on a table, and they said, "Go," and I went, "Well, I'm not a Funko person, right? I'm just not. I'm not a Funko person. It's fun to go into that store in Everett and just look. I was sending you photos from there, the Justice
Yes.
League backpacks and
That's
stuff, and I
real
was like, oh,
cute.
these are cute. These are fun.
If I was not busy, I might have gone and grabbed it.
Oh, right. Like it's like again, like their Loungefly stuff. Like, oh man, there. I would look. If I had the space, I would totally do a Loungefly collection. They do so many
Oh,
cool,
so
cool
good. They're
things.
Disney stuff too. Just
Well, they're even doing, like I said, like Fievel Goes West and American Tail and She-Ra, and they're doing DC. They have a Poison Ivy backpack and wallet. It's just like, what is this? Anyways, I digress. So there was one Funko Pop. I looked at it and I said, wow, that doesn't even look like a Funko Pop. It looks like the artist drew it. That's really cool. Oh, Falkfinch. You know what? I don't collect Funkos, so I put it back. I ended up walking by it again. I picked it up again and I went, oh man, that's really cool. That is really nice. And I went and put it back. Then I walked by it again and went, damn, I really like this. And I said, fuck it. I'm just going to buy it because if I'm picking it up now for a third time and going, how cool this is,
you're into it.
then I'm into it. So speaking of this character, Mr. I can't say his name. I would be a terrible Superman. He'd be stuck with me forever. But yeah, I grabbed Emperor Joker from a Superman comic story where the Joker tricks Mr. M into giving him his powers, and he calls himself Emperor Joker, and goes after Superman.
That is cool, actually.
It was super cool. I'm not even a big Funko guy, and I was like, yeah, man, I just kind of, and I'm not even like a big Joker fan either, but for some reason I was like, I think I need this.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. But anyway, yeah, like, and again too, like there's so many of these cool characters of that Superman has, and I want more of it.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited. I mean, we've gotten some other cute stuff. There's, what is it called? There's a new like time travel 80-page special series that's coming out, that's got some really fun stuff in it. There's a little Halloween special with young Super Sons again, where Damien and John switch costumes to go trick-or-treating, which is, and then shenanigans. So it's very, very cute. But yeah, just a lot of fun stuff this week, but a lot of it is either Super Sons or just super.
Right. But again, like, and there's the announcement for Earth 2 Superman returning as well.
I love the BS physics of that cape. Like, visually, it is very dramatic, but you can look at that for like 0.2 seconds and being like, that is not how a cape works.
We now live in a world where Todd McFarlane has drawn Spawn capes and Batman capes. Physics need not apply to a really cool cover. Let me tell you.
It's true. No, and I'm all about like the physics-defying drama moment, but that one just seems like, and it's so bad. Like, I know I need to look past it and appreciate what is a beautiful cover. That cape just makes me a little crazy.
Now, I will say there's one thing that kind of bummed me out with all these characters coming back and getting their own titles. Not one of the announcements was a Lois Lane solo title.
I'm not surprised, though. Disappointed, but not surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't care. She doesn't wear a mini skirt and, fly above our heads and, do crazy things. They don't.
Again, I think she's so topical for how things are. I think
she is, but she's just, and I'm saying this because I hate it. She's a mom now. Like, she's not the Superman's love interest. She's Superman's mom. So they're less likely to do exciting things with her.
That just shattered me.
I know.
I don't know how I feel about that. Oh man, I don't even know how I feel about that. Because like they were saying, like, because if you don't know, the writer who's going to be writing Power Girl is Lee Williams. If you don't know Lee Williams' work, she's been doing a lot of stuff with the X-Men lately. And I think she's absolutely awesome, and I think she's hilarious. I think she's going to nail that character. So that's exciting, but it's like so all these characters are getting, like I said, everyone's getting titles, and I was like, why can't we get like Teenie Howard on Lois Lane? Right? There's like I said, there's
because now Lois Lane is Ma Kent.
Oh, why you gotta phrase it like that? What?
Jay Nakamura is now Lois Lane, and Lois Lane is Ma Kent.
God dang it.
And when I say Jay Nakamura is Lois Lane, I mean, like, literally, he's, as much as they made John a Clark clone, they made Jay a little Lois clone, and they just said copy paste.
Does he do the news?
Yeah.
Oh.
He literally, the first time he meets Lois, he like freaks out and talks about how he has like a picture on her wall and how she's the one who inspired him to get into journalism. Like, literally, he is John's Lois Lane.
Right.
He literally writes for like a place called The Truth. Not.
Then why doesn't he get his own title? I don't know. I like reporters in my comics.
Because people would have to be interested in Jay.
But then why not do a Jay and Lois team up book where they...
You want this so bad!
I want this so bad that I'm looking for any avenue in which I can steer this car and get my own Daily Planet book. God dang it, I really, really want it. Like I said, like the world outside of Superman is so fun and so interesting. Like, even Jimmy. I shouldn't say even Jimmy.
Especially Jimmy.
Like, I shouldn't say even Jimmy. Like, yeah, especially Jimmy. Like, Jimmy's crazy, man. Like, I love it. I love it. I love that he gets put in all these situations. We've seen him turn into a giant turtle. Right? Like, we've seen it all with Jimmy because you could do anything to him and he'll bounce back.
He really goes through it.
He does. I think I was just about to bring up Batman versus Superman again, and I'm not going to do it. We did our Snyder talk for the night. We're done. But
Man, it's like how you get like one F-bomb per night. We get like one Snyder sentence per night.
That's right.
And we have to stop.
After that, boom, no more. Hang on, let's just go check out the chat. I just realized we've been ignoring the chat. They've been saying so.
Hi
everyone. Yes, this is John talking about the boys hanging out.
Yes.
Kind of like the date night issue, just a family game night gone wrong.
And we've seen cute stuff like that, like the Kents and the Waynes when they came together in the Super Sons Christmas, like the Super Sons Halloween one I just described. I mean, they do it with Super Sons a lot because they're kids, so it's easy.
Right.
But I would absolutely love to see one that instead of being Clark and Bruce and the boys, being Conor and Tim and the littles. It would be hilarious. Like, can you imagine John talking about like how cool Tim is and Damien being like like just so mad about it. Like this guy?
Like the math dork?
Yeah. And John's just like, whoa, bow staff. And Damien's like, you're so easily impressed. Shut up, you're embarrassing me.
Yeah.
Like it would be so funny.
But it extends.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Yeah. Ryan B, thank you for joining us tonight as well. Love Death of Superman. This was my favorite comic as a kid. The SNES game was awesome too. Fun fact, I own that game on the Super Nintendo and I still have the box and the instruction booklet for it.
Wow.
Because I too was a fan. Let's put it this way. The moment they put out a video game and I played that game so hard just so that I could get to the levels where you could play as Conor. It was one of the best things ever. Jay Andrew, thank you as well for joining us tonight. Sorry I'm late, but I'm trying not to miss any Daily Dole streams. Oh, dude, I am on Skelevator's channel tomorrow to talk about Eternia. So just be sure, like I'm gonna do some He-Man talk tomorrow on Skelevator. So be sure to like and subscribe his channel as well. Oh, Silver Banshee. I said Screaming Banshee again, didn't I? That's a hack.
I didn't catch it, so.
Yeah. Go for the KF roll at DC. Yes.
Not my vote.
Well, not just me.
Matters.
I need Lexi here too. Can't just be white dudes running the show. I need voices. I'm
ready. Put me in, coach.
Yes. That's what I need. I can say, hey, I think this would be cool. And I say, now give me your take on it or tell me something better. That's what I would do.
We're just getting Lois solos for a year straight. Nothing.
We're getting
but
Lois solos and crossovers with Kitty Pryde from X-Men. That's it.
Nothing else.
Flash 739. Thank you as well for coming back and joining us once again. President. Yeah. What? No.
No to all things. No to anything fun.
John, on Supergirl, she was a radio DJ for Cat Grant's Media Empire and completely went off the rails. I thought that was fun. I kind of forgot about that. That's I don't know about you, Lexi. I fall off the WB shows.
I fall off TV shows like in general. So
right.
These ones, yeah. And I actually liked Supergirl, what I saw of it. I can't. I'm bad with TV shows.
So all of these CW DC movies are all filmed up here in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And nothing was more fun than like looking out your window and there's Flash and Supergirl out in front of the.
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
And well, I've got photos. I'll post them on our Instagram. I have photos of me just casually walking onto set and taking photos of the pilot for Batwoman. So the bat symbol's in the air and everything's done up to look like Gotham with Gotham City Police. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take a selfie here.
You are a better person than I am because I would be physically incapable of doing that casually.
Like, I made it just
I get out so fast.
I work in film. I signed an NDA for another company, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I would have felt. Right? Oz also had Dick's Badonk and Free Space. Always.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
We need to do a Gotham City Tonight bingo. Dick's Badonk and the Snyderverse. And I forgot what the other one was. They'll all for sure be there.
MGT is what Livewire would be in real life. Yes. Yeah. Here we go. Mixia Spitlick. Right?
And I'm going to get it wrong next time, too.
Yeah. See, look at this. Everyone's like, yeah, boo
That's
Funko.
me talking about Mr. When I'm like typing it, I'm like Mr. And there's kind of like keyboard smash.
Right.
The exact same thing. Or I Google it and then I copy paste.
Nerd Room, thank you for hanging out with us today. I'm assuming this is Tim. Very cool. It always starts with one. In this case, it will only be one. Nothing else striked me. There we go. Lifelong toy collector also as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Oh boy, looking like a lifelong toy collector. Correct.
I've got a few Funko Pops. I have not related to this at all, but Deku from My Hero Academia, and I got it signed by the English voice actor for Deku. And then I have like a Wonder Woman. We've got a Batman. Some others floating. Just some little ones that were like, these are just my favorite person, and I want them near me.
Right. Yeah. See, and here, Jeremy too. My wife has the trademark wall of pops of Wonder Woman. Yes. I also sent Lexi a photo of this. They had a wall of different Wonder Woman.
Yes,
costumes.
that was awesome.
At the Funko store. Like I've never seen that. Usually it's like the big section of Batman and then a section of just mix of DC.
Mm-hmm.
This one just had a wall, just a big section of just Wonder Woman.
As it should be.
As every lantern in every costume that like I was kind of like, oh man, why can't these be just like actual toys?
That's what she deserves.
Right? See, last I saw Lois was the new 52. She was so cool in that storyline. I have all of those. I bought that whole run. Because I'm obsessed with Lois Lane. Let's go pitch a Lois story. I always have a Lois Lane story up my sleeve and ready to go at any point in time. It's just her teaming up with Kitty Pryde from the X-Men. Lois Lane is also Makan on Superman and Lois, which is the new CW show, and still has cool, important stuff to do.
I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm just saying they're not. I'm not saying this because I don't like Lois or because I don't think she's important. Obviously, I'm a mom. I think moms are cool. I'm just saying from their perspective, this is why I just don't feel like they are going to give her a solo run.
Yeah.
If I were running it, I would give her a solo run.
Yeah. Me too.
What? You?
Yes.
Hold on, Brian.
I don't know. It's just like there's something. Even when I watch the old cartoon, like the old Max Fleischer cartoons from the 30s of Superman, which I have on DVD. You can get them you can watch them all free and high def now on YouTube. So I highly suggest checking those out as well if you've never seen like Mechanical Monsters and stuff. I think the only ones they don't have on YouTube, which I have on DVD, are the very problematic World War II propaganda episodes. And if you can only imagine how much racism is in those when we're talking about World War II. So just a heads up on those for anyone who's going to be looking for them. That's what's going to happen. Say what you want about Zack Snyder films, and we do. He really made side characters really interesting to me. I like Olsen in there, and Lois was great.
I'm going to disagree.
Me too, 100%. Do you know what? Because this is the thing I tried avoiding to say when I said we already made our point. And Zack Snyder's idea of having fun with Jimmy Olsen was having him get shot in the head in front of Lois Lane.
Also, I didn't like his Lois Lane.
She was kind of like, you're better than the Muppets. Stay in there. Right? Like,
you make this face a lot. And I'm just like, why are you so concerned all the time? Like, stiff upper lip, girl.
Yeah, come on.
You're Lois freaking Lane. Hit someone with a microphone or something. I don't know.
Oh, there. Say his name 3 times. He shall appear. Skelevator.
Henry Cavill.
Oh my gosh, right? Well, maybe next week. Next week. Right? On Supergirl, I just hated that it was just makeup. It was great makeup, but the fact that it was just makeup and not some sort of physical change. I'm trying to replay back what we were talking about.
Livewire?
Oh, yes. That makes perfect sense. But you're right. It would have been cool. I guess that's where animation just is like better. Yeah. Right? Right? Like sometimes certain characters and certain things are just better in animation and in comics. Not everything translates good into film, right? So there you go. I'll let you read this one. This one's clearly for you.
Thank you, John. No joke. My Hero Academia, maybe one of the best superhero stories series of all time, right alongside anything Marvel, DC. I completely agree. I am up to date with the manga, not just the anime. And it is, I have honestly said to everyone I know who likes Western comics and media, who's interested in getting into anime, My Hero Academia is absolutely the gateway series for you. It is so good. Like if you like superheroes, if you like DC, if you like Marvel, it is real. It toes that perfect line that I like in media, where it takes classic tropes, the idea of the hero, the idea of the good guy, the idea of like, and then turns them on their head. Like it really toes that line between letting you have your hero tropes, but then still doing something unique with them. And it's really, really cool. So that's My Hero Academia plug.
It is very much My Hero Academia and One Punch Man feel like love letters to American comics.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are All Might is literally a Superman parody. He studied in America, came to like hero, whatever his years, here in America. Later in the manga, you get introduced to, the next number one hero is another American who comes through. So yeah, it is absolutely like intentionally, like there are characters where you'll be like, hey, this is definitely a parody of like this DC character, this Marvel character. It's really fun.
Yeah, I agree because I've watched it too. Actually, it was you doing your costumes, being like, okay, what is this? I think I better find out what the hell this is. Because I'm not scared of anime. And the more tentacles, the better. But it was still a very good show. Ryan B, have you seen the Mezco 5 Points Mechanical Monsters set? Really cool. I want it. Yes, I have seen it. I'm still on the fence whether or not I am going to get it. But it's a beautiful rendition of the 1930s Max Fleischer Superman. And toys. I seem to really enjoy them. So why the heck not? Oh my gosh, everyone's writing so much. I can't read anymore. John, Lois didn't have the spice and strength I needed, and Jimmy died 5 minutes into the movie without being vocally called Jimmy Olsen. For these reasons, I'm out. Boom.
John, get out of my head.
Yes. Bingo, John. You nailed it, right? Oz, if you say my name 3 times in a row at midnight during a full moon while staring at a mirror, I show up, I raid your fridge, play with your pets, give you a pep talk, and roll out. See, the positivity monsters, right? That's what we need more. That's what Superman needs for a villain.
A positivity monster.
A positivity monster. One
I love that already. Immediately. Give us Control. You are going to get your positivity monster. You're going to get your Lois Lane solo run. You're going to get young John back, or at least John with a better relationship.
Yeah, I still think there's a way to keep everything current John has and still make him younger.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because again, being queer is not an 18 and up experience. Like,
correct. Yeah, that's kind of my point. Yeah, that was right.
100%. It's not like if you make him young again, he has to be straight. Like you don't have to be in a relationship to be queer. If everyone's like, oh, but if he's young, he can't be dating. You can be bisexual and not be actively dating. But also, I call homophobia on that because they've got young Damien making out with a weird aged down Raven. So
there is so much. Yeah, I agree with that. It's like, you see people do this all the time, pairing 2 kids of the opposite sex and going, oh, that's cute.
Oh, they say it about real life children. It's so
That's
weird.
What I mean. That's what I'm saying. In real life, we see this. So you're going to tell me, like, you just can't have 2 boys be the same way? Give me a break. Come on.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
so
even
you
when,
don't
like,
have to, he can be young and be queer. It's fine. But also, it's fine if he doesn't date until he's 18. He can still be queer for all those years he's not dating.
Correct. Correct. And I mean, this is the same kind of like they can have that same kind of stuff where they can play like they clearly like each other and not really do anything. They did the same thing with Babs and Dick for like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Right? Trust me, you can do the same with these two as well. Like, and I get that some people will probably be upset that they're, they might see it as taking it away from him, but I don't. I don't. I don't. Yeah.
I mean, it's DC Comics. We could also get like a young John from an alternate universe, or find out that this John is from an alternate universe and the real young John has been lost in a time stream this whole time. Then we could get both.
Oh my God. You just wrote it.
I know. You're welcome. I just fixed comics.
You just fixed all of DC in one sentence.
The young John that we knew is going to come back because he was in a weird time stream where time passed here, but not for him. And then it turns out this John came from a weird, different universe and isn't actually that John. Fixed.
We've seen weirder shit.
No, but that's the thing. Legitimately, we have seen way weirder shit.
And like, remember when Bruce Wayne died, and then they were trying to track him down through time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Damian tried to track him to literal hell.
Yeah.
To literal hell because he cast a spell to ask if his dad was in heaven and they said no. So Damian's immediate assumption was that his dad was in actual hell.
Yeah.
And he went there to try and find him.
When they have a scapegoat called the Lazarus Pit, trust me,
Damian Wayne Al Ghul did not even come back to life through a Lazarus Pit. He came back through Darkseid's home.
Oh, Apocalypse.
Yes.
Right?
He's an Al Ghul.
Also,
the Lazarus Pit writes itself.
Out of all the iconic Superman villains, how did we not discuss Darkseid? Again, if anything, anytime you put in Jack Kirby style characters in anything, I think that his designs are. I know people think they're like weird and crazy. If you don't read comics and someone looks at Galactus or the dude from the New Gods who's on skis and a Silver Surfer, right? Like, and you or Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness.
Like, if you take a look at any of these characters Jack Kirby's created, and you don't read comics, you don't understand it, and you look at it for the first time, you're going to be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Which is why I understand why movie studios are probably scared as shit to dive into it. And I mean, actually dive into it, which is why Steppenwolf didn't look anything like, he looked like a Transformer villain. He didn't look like Steppenwolf. I think if they just embrace, like, and MCU has this problem too. I think Orion, perfect, right? And see, I love it when people name their children after comic book characters.
Thanks.
You included. We wouldn't have. I wouldn't have MCU. Look, we're seeing some of Kirby's influence in MCU, and I mean, we're just talking about like designs in the back. I still don't think either studio has full-on embraced Kirby and the style of costumes he makes, the characters he's designed. I think they like to play that we're going to give him a nod because we respect who Jack Kirby is. But none of them have like fully grabbed Jack Kirby by the balls and deep-throated him. Right?
I honestly think the problem they're running into with live action costume design right now is they found an aesthetic in the beginning that was new. So even though it was subtle, it was cool because we hadn't seen it done that way before. But now we're getting to a point where it's the exact same style in a different color palette for every single hero. And now we're bored.
I think
it was cool in the beginning. I think like a lot of those initial designs, like I think that design when it was first kind of being used in DC and MCU was, I thought it was really cool. But but now it's like, okay, but it's the same thing in different colors every time now.
Yeah, you're correct. I absolutely agree with that. Like we've seen it, and I think that's kind of why I like the end of No Way Home when Peter Parker's first off. Peter Parker is going to find out really quick what happens when you use metallic lycra. that shit's gonna wear out really, really fast, especially for the shit that he does. So first off, he's about to learn a very hard lesson in the new movie if they ever do make one, which I'm sure they have to. Spider-Man 4 has to come out.
Oh yeah.
But again, when you see that style of costume where it just goes back to that, like, almost that eBay bought printed out Spider-Man costume style. Do you know what I mean? Like it looks,
Yeah.
his costume looks like he made it. He looks like a cosplayer. And you should.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're someone at Spider-Man's level of making costumes, because he went from like the last time he made his own costume, it was a hoodie and goggles.
Yeah. And then he had, Tony Stark.
Everything after that was Stark Tech.
Yeah.
Loses that, he had to learn how to sew. So when people, that's why it always kind of bugs me when people say like teenage heroes and stuff, like, I've seen cosplayers make better costumes. I'm like, yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that was the point.
That's
actually.
The point. Yeah. Like these are people.
Also, thank you. Cosplayers actually work really hard, so I don't even know if that's like the flex they think it is.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like,
And that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Like the idea of these characters that they are not cosplayers, but they have to make their own costumes. So of course the people that are out there working their asses off to make incredible costumes, their costumes should be better.
Yeah.
Than the people that don't know how to make costumes.
Yeah.
Right? Not everyone can get matching Superman jackets.
Lois and Ma Kent making all of those for the team.
Yep. Yes. Oh my gosh. I hope they talk about where they got the jackets.
Me too. Like again, when I saw that fan art, that was just like Superman looking at the family and Lois being like, "You want one?" He was like, "I want one." Like it's just so cute. Like Dan Mora did this really incredible thing, like unifying the super family, keeping Clark classic. Like let's talk about it. Let's joke about it. Let's embrace it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's go through the last few bit of comments, and then
we are
can
at our hour mark.
And we can cut it out
and go pick up the baby.
Yeah, yes, Damien.
Speaking of Damien.
Yeah. I would love to see someone adapt Kirby's looks into live action in the way and embrace how weird they are and still makes them menacing because they are so weird.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I feel about the New Gods and Apocalypse and Darkseid and Granny Goodness and her femme fatales. And
if someone came at me looking like they were straight out of a comic book, I'd be freaked out.
Well, even like take a look at Bad Barda and Big Barda. Sorry, Big Barda and Mr. Miracle, right? Like,
yeah,
those two alone should have their own movie. Like, they are just incredibly iconic.
Yeah, because like whenever people think about like Harley Quinn's design, where she had like the daddy's little monster, the short shorts, like that whole look, like whether you liked it or disliked it, it was new, it was different, and you still knew it was Harley Quinn. And I think it's okay to dislike the outfit, but I still appreciate them trying it. They've been able to change her look every time. They said,
and that costume made a huge impact.
It did. It was a cultural reset. Do you know how many people I've seen dressed in that specific outfit? There is like Hot Topic merch for her looks, where like it's just in store. You just buy that clothing in Hot Topic. Like it's crazy. So like whether it's your personal preference or not, like they did something there,
That's correct. And you're right. And the movie's been out for how long? Like 5 years now at this point?
Yeah, and she's had so many outfits since, and everyone still goes back to that one.
Still goes back to that.
This Halloween, we'll see it. And good for them.
Good for them. Bring it on. Yeah. I just finished Lego DC Supervillains, and it went pretty hard on New Gods in the later levels. That's good to know, because I should play those games. John, I do love the MCU starting to stretch the style a little more. It's starting to be a little less modified military gear and more battle ready and heroic and vibrant. And I feel
like they are. They're starting to go a little bit more comic booky.
Yes.
Little bit, inch by inch.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Another great example. The Toyman is a ridiculous Superman villain, but he's kind of fun.
I was actually thinking about him when we were talking about villains earlier. Like he is one that is like that Batman Rogues Gallery style.
Yes, I agree
too.
And there's two Toymen, One I think is actually more of an Asian nerd stereotype, which
Yeah.
is the more current one, the one that collects. No offense, John, the one that it collects like Gundams and Transformers, but he's also like that. I deal with these a lot, and I see these people more often on, like, we kind of make fun of them on Toy Anxiety on our other show in a little segment we call at the end sad comments, where they get very entitled and very angry and very demanding, and that's kind of what the more recent Toy Man is more that.
Okay, all I can think about is that Powerpuff Girls episode with the toy collector that like tries to like collect the real Powerpuff Girls, and like they beat him by like opening up all of his like collector's toys and just
Yeah,
making him freak out.
that's that's exactly who the new Toy Man is. But the old one, he's kind of like he's like a creepy Geppetto. So
Yeah.
like you could go either route, and I think both would make for a really good movie. And if
Yeah.
you ever wanted to do, and I don't know if this has ever been done, I'm actually going to look this up after. Let me know in the chat, has there ever been a team up with the ventriloquist and Toy Man to go up against Batman and Superman?
Ooh.
If
I
that
don't
has
know the answer to
happened,
that either.
I don't either, but I feel like I just made
Except, hey,
something up.
John, I've got a Voltron, like OG Voltron, not new Netflix Voltron model out in the living room too. So.
However, new Netflix Ultron is very, very good.
So good. Well, up until the ending, but it's fine.
Yes, we'll do
Not
Voltron
related.
tonight, another day.
Voltron tonight.
We'll do
Oh, deceased.
Yeah, Voltron anxiety. Yeah, I'll be forever bummed we didn't get Ava DuVernay and Tom King's New Gods movie. Okay. Apparently Tom King has also gone back to Hollywood, and something else of his is getting made, but he's been super hush hush about it. So maybe that's coming back, and maybe he's just not trying to, get anyone's hopes up. Because we'll find out what happens there. But you know what? I think that's it. I have no final thoughts other than give me all the Lois Lane.
Mine is give me all of the super fam. Like, I love Bat fam content. I want that because Superman has the characters. They have the dynamic. They have the personalities. There's no reason we can't have a super fam the way we have a Bat fam. I want it so bad. And I hope this is the start of that, not just for this run, but like for DC moving forward, this becomes a thing where we like don't remember a time where they were so separated. That's what I want.
This is a very exciting jumping on point and a way to start out the new year.
Yeah.
It has me really excited. I love being excited about Superman. There is something very like not even nostalgic, just something just feels like naturally good when you can be excited about Superman, and I really hope this leads to that's exactly it. And I kind of hope that this leads to just more Superman things. And you know what? For all we know, maybe Cavill does come back as Superman next week. And maybe this is part of their way of relaunching Superman into the stratosphere so that we can get another Superman movie done right.
Maybe a Superman animated. Wait, isn't the Adventures of Superman animated series coming out?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe, Black Jimmy Olsen. Was it Asian Lois Lane? No, but it was short hair Lois Lane. Okay. But there is that coming out that I'm very excited for. Maybe Superman will be relevant with kids again because they really are all into Batman and Spider-Man, quite frankly.
You're right. We'll see. I had a hot take of I had a Spider-Man hot take today that I think got me in some hot water with some people at work.
I was going to say, are you allowed to share it if it wasn't?
I can share it. I can share this. This was just an overall opinion. And I said, Peter Parker is dated and not the everyman he used to be. So just let him get married to Mary Jane, because they separated them again in the comics. And I was like, just let them be together. Let them be the Clark and
Lois of their world.
He is exactly right. Like, just let them do their thing. Let Peter Parker be Peter Parker. You still be this elder Peter Parker. The everyman now the one that we all relate to, or kids should be relating to anyways, not so much me, but the younger audience relates to Miles. Let Miles be the number one. And I think Marvel Comics, this has nothing to do with the movies, by the way. This is just where I'm just talking about comics and the Marvel Comics. I think the Marvel Comics should just focus on Miles. And they should make him the Spider-Man. And that's it. But anyways, and that's how I'm feeling about like Superman right now as well. I want Superman to play that same kind of role that Peter Parker is, except for Lois Lane. I want her to always be Lois Lane. I want her to be a Pulitzer Prize winning Lois Lane, who gets into trouble and Superman has to save her, but she does pretty well on her own. But Superman still helps her out because he loves her. Anyways, that's beside the point. I love Lois Lane, everybody.
I mean, same. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
When she's written well, she's great.
Yes. Oh, right. She's the best when she's written well.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Good night, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Metropolis tonight, Gotham City tonight, wherever you are out in the DC universe. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you all next week. Bye.
Awesome. Good night.